Oh, happy day. Miss Trammell here, back again with another Number Corner video. Can you believe it's May? I know I can't. That means we've been in school since August and we're almost ready to go to the next grade level. Well, almost, because we still have a whole month of Number Corner material to go through together. And that's what we're going to start doing today. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce to you our calendar collector. Our collector this month is going to involve water. And I'm so excited about this because look what we're going to be dealing with here. We have a measuring cup and it's dealing with water. So are we collecting water? What are we doing with water? Well, I'm going to tell you. But I have some questions that I want you to think about first before I actually show you what's going to happen. First question is, what do you think would happen if I were to fill a measuring cup with 200 milliliters of water and just left it out in direct sunlight? Yes. Did you say that the water may evaporate? You're right. The water probably is going to evaporate. And so I wonder how quickly it might evaporate. Do you think that it would evaporate overnight? Probably not, right? You've seen when it rains really, really hard and there are puddles and the sun comes out the next day and maybe the puddle is still there, even if it's just a really small puddle. So it might not happen overnight. Do you think it would take a week? How about a month? No, definitely not longer, right? I don't know. I guess it all depends. We're only dealing with a small number here. So I want you to know a milliliter is not a whole lot. So if you think of a dropper, about a few drops out of that dropper would equate to a milliliter. And so if I'm talking about filling up a water bottle, I might not talk in terms of milliliters. Maybe I would talk in terms of ounces or liters. Milliliters are really small. And I'm going to show you exactly what 200 milliliters of water looks like. But first, let's look at this last question. Do you think that when it does evaporate, so we know that it's probably going to take less than a month if we have 200 milliliters of water in direct sunlight. We don't know exactly how long. I guess we're going to have to find out. But what I want to know is, would it evaporate at a steady rate of however many milliliters a day? Or could it possibly be that some days evaporate faster, the water evaporates faster than other days? And I wonder why that might be. Are you thinking about maybe the weather, like maybe some days are warmer than others? Are you thinking about the position of the sun? Maybe some days the water could be in direct sunlight and other days maybe it's partially cloudy. I don't know. I guess that would all determine what's going to happen when we put some water out and see if it's going to evaporate. So, lucky for you, especially since we are virtual here, I have already set up our experiment. So you're not going to have to pour any water, but I am going to show you a picture which I enlarged. My measuring cup doesn't look exactly like the measuring cup on this slide where it has increments of 10 milliliters, so you could really see exactly how much liquid has evaporated. So we're going to have to pull on our mathematical practice standards and work on being really precise in our estimation of what's happening with the water whenever it happens, right? Because we have to find that out. We have to be really precise. And so we'll kind of work on that as we look through the calendar collector this month. So since today is May 2nd, I want to show you what happened with day 1. Here is day 1 of having 200 milliliters of water, which would have been May 1st because today is, you got it, it's May 2nd. Let me see if I can make this bigger for you. To move my beautiful face out the way. So can you see that the line is right there at 200 milliliters? That's what we're starting with. 200 milliliters. Not a whole lot, a fourth of a liter, and you probably are familiar with maybe a 2-liter soda. a 2-liter soda bottle that you might buy when you have pizza night or something and share amongst your family members or friends. We don't even have 1/4 of a liter. So it's a lot less. 200 milliliters is what we're working with. So we are going to look at what happened on day 2, since today is May 2nd. Now, as we go through looking at this experiment, there are a couple of things that we need to do. We're going to record exactly how many milliliters are in this measuring cup. Now, you may remember I said we have to work on being precise with our measurements, right? Because I don't have increments of 10 milliliters. And it's even possible that maybe the water evaporates in smaller increments than 10 milliliters. We're going to have to wait and see. But we're going to record it as precise as possible. And we're also going to consider how many days have passed so that eventually we can create a graph to look and see what is the rate at which this water is evaporating. So before we fill it in, well, I guess we can fill in. Let's go ahead and write in day 1, which was Sunday. We had 200 milliliters. And so on day 1, how many days have passed? You got it. 0 days have passed. So 0 days have passed, which means I have still what I started with because no time has passed, right? 200 milliliters. Well, let's see what happens on day 2. Here we go. Up, here's day 2. You see day 2 written down here at the bottom, and it looks just like day 1. Let's look back at day 1. And I tried really hard to take the picture at the same angle at the same time every day to make sure that this experiment was as accurate as possible. But I can see that maybe there's a little difference between the picture of day 1 and day 2. So I'll have to work on that for our future days. But it's very clear to me, hopefully it's clear to you, that this is still 200 milliliters. So has anything evaporated? Nothing has evaporated. So I would go back to my chart here. And since today is Monday, May 2nd, I'm going to go ahead and fill in the fact that we still have 200 milliliters. We now have how many days have passed? You got it. 1 day has passed and we have no water loss. Interesting, right? I wonder what's going to happen as time continues to move on. I also want to make sure I tell you that this cup of water is not actually in the direct sunlight. I just wanted to get you thinking about what may happen. It's just in a random location, a safe space so that it doesn't spill. And so the variables are not the same as what we kind of talked about earlier with it being in direct sunlight and being cloudy, because it's actually inside a room. It's not outside. And full disclosure, it's in my kitchen. So that's our calendar collector for this month. I'm really excited to see what's going to happen with this water and how fast or how slow it will evaporate, because we know, we all agree, right? We agree that the water is going to evaporate. We just don't know how fast and how long it may take to completely disappear. So that means you need to stay tuned. And just like before, when we don't have a day where we actually talk about the calendar collector, I'm still going to briefly show you a picture of it and try to have a very short conversation about attending to precision, being as accurate as possible in our estimations for how much liquid has evaporated, or how much liquid is actually in the measuring cup, so that we can then determine how much has evaporated from this month's calendar collector. Thank you for joining me today. I can't wait to see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.